Thursday, April the 11th. Lake levels just a few inches below normal pool. We got a bunch of rain last night, and I'm actually between trips right now. But when I put in this morning and when I took out at 11 o'clock, it looked like it'd come up a few more inches. So with all the rain that we've had around the area, we should get up the pool in a couple days. But with that front that came in, water temperature dropped like 4 degrees overnight. And I'm sure in the river arms it dropped even more. But this morning it was about 52 degrees, and I fished in the same area, which was up in the White River around Campbell Point, and it was like 56. In the afternoon it was 57. Now I've been finding from this weekend on, spring had actually finally got here. Water was warming up real good, and I was seeing a lot of fish cruising in the backs of the pockets and seeing several beds. Now in the mornings you wouldn't see any fish on the beds, and I'm sure with this cold that came in last night, it's going to pull them fish back out, and it'll be a few more days before they get back up on the, start making beds again. But there's a lot of things going on. Still a lot of big fish being caught on the Alabama rig and the jerkbait. But I'm catching a lot more fish now on the main lake and secondary flat gravel points. Now a lot of the areas where we were catching the good largemouths on jerkbaits and Alabama rig, it seems like those fish have moved into the creeks and the backs of the pockets, and Kentucky's are coming up out of that deep water, which is good because there's a lot more numbers of fish up there. Now, a lot of them fish that are going back in there to spawn, I think right now they're just in the center of the pockets. They're out, some of them out in front of them docks. And one way we're catching a lot of them is on a fluke. And I've been up in the White River. It seems like the bite's a little bit better from Baxter on up as the water was a little bit warmer. But I'm just throwing a regular fluke. And the color that's been working best, mainly the only color I've been throwing has been a watermelon candy. And I'm putting a 3-aught hook in there, and I'm fishing it either on 6 or 8 pound line on a spinning rod or 10 pound line on a bait caster. But what I'm doing with it, I usually put a swivel up about 16 inches above the hook. And one of the main reasons I do that is because fishing the fluke on spinning gear, you get so much twist in your line. So it helps with the twist a bunch, and also it gives you a little bit of weight to help throw the bait and help drop it. Now a lot of times if I'm not using a swivel, I'll take a little lead weight or like a finish nail and just put part of it in the bait to help it sink. And a lot of these fish, they're out there suspended anywhere from, they're in like 25 foot or from the bank out to 25 foot. But they're not that deep. They're only 3 or 4 feet down. And we're catching a lot of numbers of fish. I think we had like 8 keepers doing it yesterday, but we probably caught 40 fish. You got to go through a lot of fish. A lot of them are bucks. Some of them are Kentuckys that are getting ready to spawn. But it's a good way to get into a lot of numbers of fish. And like I say, I've been finding it better from Baxter up into the Kings River and up in the above Shell Knob. Now, when I was down at Kimberling the other day, in that area, we caught them pretty good on the grub. It seems like if you don't have any wind on a lot of the main lake flat gravel points and secondary points, I'm catching them on 2 different colored grubs. Where did I put them in the grubs? But either a milky white or a salt and pepper or black or gray with black flake. And I'm kind of mixing it up between a 4 and a 5 inch grub, throwing it on a 1/4 ounce head. And most of the time I'm setting the boat in about 25 to 30 feet of water. Some days these fish will be suspended. I'll count it down about 8 or 10. And usually what I'm doing when I'm reeling it in, I'll pop the bait a few times, reel it, pop it, let it set for a second. That way it's kind of going up and down. When you're popping it, it's jerking the bait. Like I say, I've been cutting down about 8 or 10. If I don't get bit that way, I'll let it go to bottom and just work it back to the boat just off of the bottom. But a lot of the times you can actually see the fish on the electronics to figure out what depth they're suspended at. And usually I'm throwing it on 6.5 to 7 foot spinning rod with 6 no heavier than 8-pound line. The bites are usually real light. You'll just feel a little tick or it loads up. Anything you're not sure about, just go ahead and jerk. And when the wind picks up, it's pretty hard to feel, and it's hard to fish that grub because the wind will put such a big bow in the line you won't be able to feel anything. And that's when I'll go to a jerk bait. Oh, here's the other grubs. But that little smoke with black flake, salt and pepper, or the one that I've got tied on, which is a milky white. And like I say, usually a 3/16 or 1/4 ounce head. Now, like I say, when the wind picks up, I've been able to catch them on a jerkbait. They actually bite the jerkbait pretty good when you got too much wind to fish a grub. And I've mainly been throwing a mixed stick. Hey Gizmo, sorry about that, buddy. And I've also been throwing a Lucky Craft. I think it's called a chartreuse shad, which is real similar to like a sexy shad. This is the Norman flake. Another one that'll work good is if the sun is out and it's real clear, it's like a clear Norman flake. And usually if it's overcast, I'll like the solid color, like the white. And this is another one that Spro makes. It's called Blue Bandit, but it's real similar to the Lucky Craft. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm setting the boat in about 20-25 feet of water, depending how much it drops off, and casting the bait up to where it's about 6 or 8 foot deep. And like I say, I think in a few more days we get some more sunshine, some of them fish will start getting on bottom where you can catch them on a football jig and a Carolina rig. I've been throwing it a little bit, but I've been getting more bites on the grub and on the jerkbait. Like I say, I don't know what it's going to be like for the next few days, but I think the next couple mornings is going to be down in the 30s again in the morning. So that's going to keep them spawners away for several more days, but we get 4 or 5 more days of sunshine. And these fish are just really porked out. I mean, they're ready to get in there and start spawning. I think we've got a full moon coming up in a week and a half or 2 weeks, so we're going to see a big run to the bank, or we're going to see fish are going to be in a full spawn mode then. And myself, I just soon let them get this spawn done and get back out there where they're feeding every day on a consistent basis. So, and also on our website, if you're interested in upcoming tournaments, right above the button for or the link for the fishing video, right above that there's a link. It'll show upcoming tournaments, and you can go to their sites and get the results from the previous week. And also lake levels. We've got a link on there that's got the lake levels hourly and how much water they're generating. But, if the water comes up a couple more feet, we'll have buckbrush in the water, and with these fish wanting to spawn, it ought to be really fun. We ought to get some fish up in the bushes. So, till next week, good luck, good fishing.